everyone. I am so glad that you decided to come to another session. And this one's going to be a little bit more woohoo, let's say, because it is become very apparent to me, and I'm not getting the response when I talk to people in public that they get what I'm talking about. And that's just basic healing and health and understanding what are the underlying elements that cause people to have dis-ease. And I love the word disease because it's not disease, it's dis-ease. And the reason that I put that type of enunciation on it is that it's an uncomfortable, it's not an easiness, it's dysfunctional. So, one of the things that's very important to let you know where I came from is that as when I was in my preteens and teen years, I would have a broken bone at least once a year. So that meant that I probably had a broken bone in one place or another for about 8 years straight. And one year I did the most wonderful thing. I went and broke my left arm. And after I got the cast off of the left arm and I was on my way, I immediately went out and broke my right arm. So the good news is that I am ambidextrous, and that's helped me all my life, especially when I happen to have dyslexia and ADD. So my point on where I'm going is that when I went to a high school reunion, I happened to have a cast on my arm, and everybody recognized me for who I was because that's how they knew me in high school. I always had a cast on. That's the kid with the cast. And it wasn't because I was accident prone. It was, yes, I was involved in sports. I was on the wrestling, the tennis, the bowling team. Now, would you expect a bowling injury to break your arm or your fingers? Not really. So, understand that this is not a normal behavior. Let's get that clear. Just because I was breaking bones and I had one every year for 8 years solid, do you think that's normal? It makes sense if you happen to be a long distance motorcycle rider or a holy cow motocross rider, or you happen to be playing a contact athletic sport, or you happen to be a professional wrestler or a fighter or somebody. You definitely have to be able to break some bones. Maybe even a stunt actor or play in any kind of heavy-duty contact sport, including soccer. It's just the way it is. You break some bones. And here's the part that I really want you to understand. It wasn't until after that event, when I started really looking at my health and what was going on in a holistic way, that I realized that the injuries that I was taking was for another reason. And I'll get to that in a minute. But it's also important to realize that when a person is in tip-top athletic form, and you know that there are some that don't have injuries, and then there's some that have injuries that cause them to fall out of that particular sport. Well, why don't we look at what the underlying reasons are in order to cure that? Now, understand that a cure to me means that once you go through treatment, that event that you are treating never happens again. So if you wanted to be cured of the common cold and never have a cold again, we could do that. That's available to you. If you want to be cured so that you never have a urinary tract infection, yeah, we can cure that. And we want to be able to look at what the symptoms are, but we're not necessarily fixing the symptoms, we're fixing the underlying dis-ease. And through Reiki healing, we can do that. If our sexual energy and physical energy is not at a really high level, then we need to determine what is blocking that's causing the drain so that everything is not the way that you want it. And it's easy enough done. All you're looking for is energy. You're looking for the person's ability to heal themselves. So that's where Reiki healing comes in. Now, part of the understanding here is that we've never been trained with what I'm talking about, looking at the actual holistic person, understanding the underlying causes, not just what the symptoms are. Because we grew up in a time when there weren't a lot of medicine doctors around, there weren't a lot of Reiki healers around, there weren't alternative medicine. You know, the American Medical Association has pretty much taken over, and it works. There's nothing wrong with it. We just need to add these other components and alternative medicines in order to make sure that we are getting a complete diagnosis of the human being and the cause and where the cure comes from. So the whole thing is that if we are taking medication and when we get off the medication our symptoms come back, medication is not the cure. Medication is pretty much just the maintenance. So what happened was that when I started learning about Reiki healing, I realized that the reason that I kept breaking bones on a regular and repeated basis is that I was very, very angry at the system. I was being blocked. I was being prevented. I was accelerating. I was a over-functioning individual. And I kept running into a age discrimination where I couldn't because I wasn't a certain age. Oh, they could draft me. Oh, yeah, they could send me down that road and send me to war, but they wouldn't allow me to do some other stuff. So it was like I was just very angry at the system, the school, the government, my family, you name it. I was pissed. I just wanted to rebel against everything. And here's the real joke. Are you ready for this? In an English class in high school, I would come in and write on the chalkboard, rebel. And of course the teacher would make me stand up and erase it because they knew exactly who had done it. But do you understand that I was acting out that rebellion by breaking bones? Now, it's kind of silly, isn't it? But you got to understand that until I got and changed my mindset, until I started to understand how anger and frustration and anxiety and overwhelmment worked, I was basically beating myself up. Is that dumber than a box of rocks? Of course. So what had to happen? I had to go to alternative medicine. I had to start working the system to my advantage, starting to learn the intricacies of how to be able to play the game of life and get rid of the anger management. So that was 3 ways that I went and started to get the cure so that I don't break bones. The last time I broke a bone was in the gym when the strap fell off my leg and the weights crashed and I kicked the machine in front of me. But I got over it. So let's just talk about it for a moment. You have erectile dysfunction, you have yeast infections, chronic back pain, you have female infertility, you have male infertility, you have multiple sclerosis, or you have arthritis. So let me tell you, all of those have a underlying emotional attack on the body. Some of them are anger, some of them are not being able to express yourself. They have to have releases. You've got to work on them in order to get rid of those so that they don't become chronic diseases. If you're interested, go ahead and comment. If you think I don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and comment. I won't attack you. That's not necessary. It's an understanding that your life can definitely be better. You can heal yourself. There's ways to do it, and we need to take the steps as a group and a community to get there. Go ahead, comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate you paying attention.